adage, right? Don't fight the Fed. And, that I understand it. And I think it's been accurate. But tell me now, why now?
Well, the Fed looks at the price consumption expenditures. Okay, they look at PCE a lot more than they look at CPI, and they want some inflation. They've been wanting inflation for a long time. So we think the Fed is going to stay on the sideline for quite a bit longer until they really see inflation in at least the 3% range.
Yeah, it was so funny because I just was looking at something Larry Summers said, and he said, former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, and I know Janet Yellen has chimed in, and obviously Jay Powell, what he says goes here. But I did think it was interesting when former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers said, policy projections suggesting that rates may not be raised for close to 3 years are creating a dangerous complacency. Are we complacent? I mean, what needs to be different? Or do we just get in this wait and see mode with the Fed?
I think there's probably 3 years is maybe a little longer. And I think that that may not be the case. But if it is the case, it'll probably be a little complacent. We're expecting maybe 2023 is when they start raising. So that's about 2 years from now. But, I think there's just no reason right now for the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates. We're still going through COVID. We still have technology that's helping as a deflationary against inflation. We think this is totally transitory right now with the supply chain. And so, it's unbelievable. The biggest reason that we have inflation as it is right now, it came from used cars and autos. If you take that out, CPI would only be 2.3. It's just there's no cars out there. There's just no new cars, and people are buying these used cars. And I thought that was a very interesting stat.
So that lifts the metrics, is what you're saying, more than what the truth is. Tell me about your comparison today to the dot-com bubble in the 2000.
Well, that was completely a different scenario back then. Right now, we have so much more money in the economy because of the stimulus and because of savings. But we also have COVID, which was an unusual situation. So we just think 2000 is completely different. And here, plus earnings, we have amazing earnings in these companies right now.
Are you worried about inflation at all? Or, we stick to this zero interest rate policy now? And how do you do an investment strategy? I mean, it sounds like you're really watching the PCE, just like the Fed is, yes. Assuming you're not particularly worried about inflation because you say it's really just a metric like the used autos that's spiking it. How's the investment strategy now?
Well, I think certainly there's going to be a little bit of inflation, and we'd like financials to help with that. But we really like big tech. Big tech has the earnings of big tech is about the same as Procter & Gamble right now. And they're not getting the love that these other companies are. So they're having the earnings, but they're not getting the pricing. So we think this is an area that right now we really still like and we're focusing on. And even though, and because we don't think there's going to be truly real inflation, it's not so much real inflation, is that the Federal Reserve is not going to react to that inflation for a long time, still leaves us to own big tech, especially right now, since they have the earnings and they're not getting the price comparison to the earnings.
And when you say big tech, for example, when I looked at the Dow today, Cisco, Microsoft, Intel, Salesforce, and Apple are the 5 best performers on the Dow. Is that what you mean when you say big tech?
Yes, and more. It's about time that they're actually moving. They haven't really done much for the last 6 months. And they've had just blowout earnings, maybe except of Cisco, but the rest of the companies have had blowout earnings, and they're not getting, their prices have not kept up. As a matter of fact, as I'm not recommending any stocks, but Apple is down for the year.